Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. It's another one here with BBA, and it looks like there has been another Free Palestine or pro-Palestine protest. So just taking a walk around this Free Palestine protest that was earlier today, and I've just asked a couple of questions to two ladies that are here to demonstrate today, and asked them for their opinion on a few things. So I'm going to now show you the video of that, and let me know what you think at the end of it. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Could I ask you ladies a quick question? Basically, I've been covering a bit of what's going on at the moment. I've been going to a lot of these Free Palestine protests, just going around asking general questions. I was just wondering, trying to get a bit of an idea of people's confidence on when Hamas hand over all hostages. Are you confident that Israel won't carry on with the demolition job that they've started? And when I say demolition job, I don't say that in any disrespect, by the way.
I quite understand. No, I would say no, I'm not confident.
No.
I think they'll just be emboldened and carry on because the international community is not condemning them, and the limits of what they've agreed to, they've done.
Yeah.
And they'll just take this opportunity to regroup, resupply themselves, and just carry on with impunity. Because already in the West Bank, there's no reason for them to behave badly in the West Bank. They're already doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
See,
so-called truce in Gaza.
Yeah.
So they go and move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Absolutely no confidence at all. Well, Israel will behave.
Why do you think it is people are so quick to condemn Hamas, but they're not as quick to condemn Israel as a terrorist state?
They don't understand that history, and they see like 75 years as being quite old history. But if I just replace the words with Ukraine, they'd have that sympathy. They'd understand, because that's something recent. They get that. They get that it's an invasion. They get that people don't want to be forced off their homeland. They don't get it when it comes to Palestine, because they think, oh, it happened a long time ago. It's very complicated, and it actually isn't.
No.
And also the Israeli propaganda machine is very, very expert.
Do you think?
And people, they stress so much, 7th of October, 7th of October, events. Without no context whatsoever.
Well, again, I'm not going to stand here and deny that October the 7th happened. I believe it did.
Yes.
However, do you believe it was as extreme as because from what I gather, most of the news coming out from there, the information is from the Israeli side, and a lot of that I feel might be propaganda.
Even they have
well, they've been known before as well, haven't they? They've been known to lie, and then sometime later actually come out and say, "Oh, it was us."
But then time has passed, and that thing is fixed in people's memories.
Yeah. So far, all people just think, oh, 7th was so awful. 1,400 people, babies beheaded, burnt bodies. That will remain in people's heads, because even though the evidence is that the numbers were lower than that, actually the majority of people were killed by IDF forces, because they're quite happy to kill their own as well as anybody else. They don't distinguish between who's innocent and anybody. It's just the particular regime you've got in at the moment. But that's not what people won't get the nuances of it. What's already fixed in their heads is it was an awful atrocity. I'm not saying wrong didn't take place, because there were civilians involved, but what's already been, the message that's already been portrayed is inaccurate.
No, I agree. Would you say that what Hamas has done has probably set back any kind of peace between the two regions? Probably, I don't know, maybe it set us right back some years now. Would you agree with that?
I think what Hamas did was out of desperation, and there's been no movement. There was been 2 times in history when there was a possibility of some kind of settlement for Palestinians.
Yeah.
And since then, there's nothing. Israel will not concede the settlements. Israel will not give, sovereignty. You look at the Palestinian Authority and how they operate. They only operate with the say-so of the Israelis.
Yeah.
So there's been no movement. Nothing's happened for the last, 20.
They counted it by actually building new settlements after the Oslo Accords and after all the peace efforts when they were supposed to stop. And instead they just went ahead and took over more land and built the new settlements.
Yeah. So don't think I think that really what happened in the 70s is a reflection of the fact that nothing's happened for the Palestinians.
It's probably a bit more of a personal one, but you personally, do you condemn what Hamas done?
I find it difficult to understand why they did it because I don't live there. But I have to think about, like, every day you get up, you brush your teeth, you open the tap, you can eat and you can drink, you get a good night's sleep, you go about your daily thing. I go see my doctor, my kids go to school, whatever it is. I'm able to have a normal life. I don't have to worry about those things. I can't see how, if I've had at least 20 plus, however many years of like living under occupation where you can't go from A to B without checkpoints and without queues, without harassment, without being shot at by snipers or harassed or arrested without any cause. How, I understand what I can't condemn what they've done.
You can't condemn them.
I can't, because I don't live the circumstances that they're in. It's not the position I'm in. I can't say that I would do that, but then I'm not the person that's being deprived of all these things.
If you don't mind me asking, again, it's probably a bit personal question. Are you yourself a Muslim lady?
Yeah, but that's not the issue.
Hang on. From what I know of Islam, though, to kill or murder any woman, any child or man, it is something that's completely condemned within your religion itself.
It is, but what I'm saying is that you also have to stand up for your rights. I'm not somebody that lives in Gaza. If I lived in Gaza, maybe what they did was the last option for them. They couldn't see any other way of like having some kind of movement. I wouldn't say resolution, but some kind of movement. So it's not something I would do.
Yeah.
But I live here. But if I lived there and I'd had to go through, my brother being arrested, my kids being arrested, or being, harassed, or your daily experiences that of living under occupation, who knows what you would have to resort to.
Of course.
And let's not forget South Africa. This is worse than South Africa, as far as I can see. In South Africa, they at least said, right, this is the hierarchy, you follow these rules, and as long as you understand you're at the bottom, and you have to do these things. People, that was clearer here. It's like you can't even walk in Palestine, you can't even walk down the road.
Do you think some of it boils down to being a racial discrimination? Because, and I'll use, for example, if we take Adolf Hitler, he's known for apparently wiping out 20 million Jews. However, King Leopold is not spoke about in the same way, and he's actually known for killing 20 million black Africans, and we don't hear about him really. In fact, I believe King Leopold II actually went out of his way to wipe any documentation away of what his father had done. So again, when I look at things like that, me personally, I do wonder sometimes if it's a racial discrimination, because we all hear about it at school because 20 million white Jews were killed, but we don't hear about 20 million Africans that in the same way. So I was just wondering if you thought it might be a little bit racial.
But also this sort of like ritual condemnation, as if you're not allowed to speak about anything unless you say, that's right.
Yeah.
Whereas where were all these people demanding ritual condemnation when Sabra Shatila happened in the 80s, when people were massacred in a refugee camp, or when babies die on their way to hospital, or people die at checkpoints, or people are shot, journalists are shot. Nothing happens. So just say, be forced to say I condemn Hamas before you can even say a word. It's totally unequal sort of approach to something that's all out of context.
No, lovely. Well, thank you ever so much for your time anyway, and it's all just about going around, like I say, and trying to get a bit of understanding. Not that I really necessarily want to, but it would be interesting to sometimes hear from the opposing side, but they don't seem to come out, so I don't know if they're a little bit more shy or ashamed of what they feel, but...
We had a guy here earlier who's part of the Jewish anti-Zionist network.
Oh, right, okay.
So he was very interested he said he stands with the Palestinian people. Absolutely.
Well, I find this as well, actually. A lot of Jewish people within Israel actually stand with the Palestinian people. Again, I think the mainstream media portrays it like they don't, but I think they do.
And the guy yesterday at the protest was saying that we want to reclaim Judaism. We should stand. We should be with the oppressed people, not the oppressors.
Yeah.
And this is another person.
So do you think, last question, sorry, do you think the only way really forward would be a two-state solution?
No.
You don't think a two-state solution would work?
It's got to be one secular state, I think.
Really?
I mean, because
For everybody.
there's too many facts on the ground as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's disrupted quite considerably.
Because a two-state, one can't let the other be. You know, it's just not going to... One state with everybody, and everybody's got the same rights. You have a chance there.
Lovely, I agree with that. Thank you ever so much anyway for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. So there we are. We have a little bit of understanding there. This lady here could not condemn Hamas. I can't say I agree with that. I think that, you know, you should be condemning all killings on either side. That kind of... I get where she's coming from. She's not a Palestinian person living in Gaza. She can't determine what she would do if she was living in those conditions. However, as I say, innocent women, children on either side, I think should be condemned. But yeah, we'll have a little walk around and see what else is going on.